Okay, where we left off, I want to reiterate just a few things. This whole using a formula thing is a big deal. This is what Excel is good at. Excel is good at taking data and kind of building off of it for new formulas, right? It's awesome. So you've learned your first formula, which is sum. And then notice this thing. This is called cell referencing. This cell, this little box right here, is where B, column B, and row 3 intersect. And that makes that number 58. Okay, so you're saying, look, I want you to add up B3 all the way up through B7. And if you notice, it makes it in blue, kind of in that writing, and then you can see the blue box. And if you let your mouse hover, you can see it highlights it. And that's a way to double check. Yep, that's working because it's adding up cell B3 through B7, all of that. Enter. Now, another way to do it is over here in the home ribbon. See that? AutoSum. If you click that, it'll automatically sum up what it thinks you want to add, namely F3 through F7. And so if you press enter, there it is, and it found it for you. And I like to label it down here what I found. You could say sum, you could say total, whatever. You're finding the grand total. So this bag obviously had a lot less of the candies than this bag, right? This was a much bigger bag. It was much more of a pain to count, to be honest. All right, now I'm going to do another formula, but this one's going to be a bit trickier in order to find relative frequency. All right, relative frequency, remember, is the fraction of frequency divided by the total. In other words, it's how common was the color orange in relation to the whole, right? So you're going to say, okay, well, equals. Now you could type 58, but let's learn how to do some cell referencing because we're going to need it later on in life. So I want to say, hey, take that cell B3 and divide it by that cell B8. Enter. Now, what I really like to do is to be able to take that formula and drag it down the column and have everything work out perfectly. So if you move your cursor to the bottom right corner, there's like a little black box there. You can't really see it very well, but there is. It's called the handle. So if I move it, see how the cursor turns into a black plus sign? And then if I double click, and then drag it down, it fills out. But it didn't work. Just kidding. I knew it wasn't going to work, but I wanted you to see why. All right, so what happens is it takes the cells you gave it, B3 and B8. See how they're blue and green? And then the next cells, when you drag it, it moves both of them down, which is good because it's moving it to 66 for the purple. We want that. But it's bad because it moved the green box down to nothing, right? 0. There's nothing in that cell. So it's 66 divided by 0, and that's why it's saying, whoa, divide by 0. You can't do that ever. All right, so the way to get out of this, because this is a great idea if we could get it to work, is to give the B8 dollar signs in the original formula. So you make it $B, $8. And now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Alana, what in the world are you doing? Well, the way this will work is when I drag it, that green box will never change. The blue box will get dragged down the column, but the green box won't change because I gave it dollar signs. Right? It's called fixing the reference. All right, now let me go back up to the one I just gave dollar signs to. See it there? I'm going to move my cursor to the bottom right corner so it turns into like a black plus sign. And then I'm going to double click and drag down, and it fills out. Technically, actually, you can just double click and it'll automatically fill. Look at that. I just filled the column out. Check it out. B4, 66, divided by B8 still. It didn't change. Enter. The next one, B5, divided by B8, didn't change. I want to do the same thing over here for the other type, or the other bag. So I want to take this cell, F3, divide it by that 49, but I don't want the 49 to change, so I give it dollar signs. Dollar sign F, dollar sign 8. And I did it quickly by using the F4 button. Enter. Click back up on that cell, go to the right corner to make it the handle, double click, and it fills down the column. You got all your relative frequencies and all your regular frequencies. I am saving. Save, save, save. I do not want to have to retype all this. All right. You've taken your first step into the formula world. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you back here for starting some graphs.